WEFUNK. We funk.
Another one of the stories, however, that I guess we will get into that I had just kind of mentioned, but of course the saga of the rat and the raccoon. Of course I got to give you my thoughts on the whole rat and raccoon situation, I guess. Just to catch everybody up, obviously it was a cross-up between McNeil and Lindor that cost him an out. Lindor noticeably furious on the field after it happened, which is very, very rare for Lindor's personality, okay? Just taking you kind of through how it went down while you're watching the game, okay? So cross up on the field. Lindor noticeably upset on the field, which is rare, like I said. Okay, then in between the next inning, okay, all you see is, from the TV standpoint, is you see, in the bottom half of that inning, the home half of the inning, McNeil, after getting out, McNeil comes up to bat. After getting out, just runs straight off into the dugout. Okay, this was followed by the Lindor home run, tying up the game, but followed by Lindor going right into the walkway in the dugout, out of camera view, and then noticeably angry still in the dugout after his home run. So you start to think something is definitely up with Lindor after being so angry, even after hitting the big home run. Okay, it was not until after they hit the field after the bottom half of that inning that the fans kind of saw what, that SNY clued the fans in as to what happened with the, Conforto and various members of the team running in to the walkway, presumably to break up an altercation between Lindor and McNeil. Okay, so this is accompanied now with the Mets back on the field. They, SNY showing what happened with, the teammates running out of camera view. Now, with the team back on the field, it looks like McNeil has a black eye at second base. So, we are led to believe that there was an altercation, potentially a fist fight, in the dugout, or, in the locker room, right outside the dugout, or in the walkway, right outside the dugout. Anyway, out of camera view, but right there, an on-the-field fist fight between Lindor and McNeil, potentially what has gone down, which I guess would lead us to the epic Lindor presser, where the legend of the rat and the raccoon was born. And it was crazy, man. And I guess I'm alone. I'm the only one that absolutely loved the way Lindor handled it. Okay. I guess, first and foremost, he kept it in-house. Okay. What happened out of camera view was between McNeil and Lindor. The media doesn't need to know. What happens in family business is family business. And Lindor kept it in-house. Okay. The second more important thing that Lindor did with it was Lindor had fun with it, okay, which is Lindor's personality. You can see Lindor's a fun-loving guy, and Lindor had fun with it, and he turned the whole situation into a big joke, okay, instead of being a whole big situation, okay, as well deflecting from, he turned the story more about the reaction than the altercation, which was genius. But just in general, Lindor, he decided to have fun with it. He kept it in-house, he kept it out. He didn't need to go out and tell the media, well, we got into a fight, but that's what happens with teammates, and we'll move forward. No, he turned it into a joke. Well, I thought it was a rat. He thought it was a raccoon. We had to go discuss. It was crazy, man. And he kept it in-house and turned it into a situation where McNeil and Lindor are now bonded over the situation as opposed to divided over the situation, okay? And of course, the press takes themselves way too seriously on the fucking cross testimonial that they had to give Lindor, and they just couldn't drop it. And I guess it really was a welcome to New York kind of moment for Lindor, who I think went out, thought he was gonna make a joke of it, and the press was gonna drop it. That's the story that he's gonna go with, and that's it. That's where the story ends. However, this is New York City. He didn't expect a cross deliberation whole situation going on with the media just not letting it go 10, 15 15 questions. Are we to believe that there was really a rat and a rat? No, stupid. You're not to believe that, but you're to believe that's what he said, and that's the story he's going with. So move on to if that home run is going to get him out of the slump, and move on to questions about the win streak that the Mets were currently on, and still currently on, because they have not lost since the rat and the raccoon situation. Okay, it was not meant to be believed. It was meant to turn the situation into a joke, deflecting from the main headline. He as well turned the whole situation into about the reaction as opposed to about the story. Okay, and now as we're sitting, like I mentioned, a week later, still having not lost, aren't you happy that they didn't come out and publicly admit to there being a fist fight in the dugout in the middle of a game? Aren't you happy that we don't know that? And aren't you happy, especially in the press as well, saying, afterwards, the press, Sal Licata, and everybody in the press saying, just admit what happened, we'll move on. It happens with teammates all the time. It's not a big deal. Just tell us what happened. That sounded a lot to me like when the cops say, hey, come on, kid, I'm only in it for you. I'm only trying to help you. Tell me everything that happened. I'm only helping you here, kid. The press would be using this against the Mets throughout the entire season, including now, raining all over the parade of the 7-game win streak, if they had confirmed knowledge that there was a fist fight in the middle of in the dugout in the middle of the game. That's not something the press would, what happens? We'll move on if you tell us. No, you'll use it against Lindor and McNeil for the rest of their career if you know that 5 years from now, if those two guys are still playing second and short, they would still be talking about the time they got into a fight in the middle of the dugout. Instead, we're going to be talking about the hilarious press conference where Lindor made a whole joke out of the situation, and the press got butthurt that they weren't being taken seriously and didn't want to move on. But now, even though we know what happened, we don't really know what happened. So we're not focused on what happened. We're focused on the 7-game win streak. Okay, and as well with Lindor with the big homer and finally getting his average to above 200. So things are looking good, and so I loved the way Lindor handled it in the press, and I loved the way McNeil handled it in the press. Afterwards, going with the joke, the night of, saying he actually thought it was a possum. He's playing along with it. These two guys are now in it together. They're going to move on. The next day, after McNeil's big home run, Lindor crashes the press conference, officially announces that it was not a rat or a raccoon. It was a ratcoon. A big hug, and McNeil said the highlight of the press conference was McNeil saying that he knows Lindor is going to be with the team for a long time. He hopes to be there as well. He loves playing with him, and we are officially ready to move on. No harm, no foul, no knowledge as to what happened, and that's the way that it goes down with. That's the way family business should be attended to. And so super, super happy for the way that they handled it off the field, and I'm super, super happy for the way they have handled it on the field, like I mentioned, not losing sense. And with both hitting home runs in the Lindor following inning with the huge home run, followed by the first Mazika walk-off, and then McNeil the next day, they have not lost sense. And like I mentioned, in terms of responding well to adversity, they fired Chili Davis. Alvarado set the spark, okay, on Friday night in Philly. Since then, I guess, 11 out of 13? And, they fired Chili Davis, follow with the win streak. The Rat and Racoon follow with the win streak. And so all in all, you love what you're seeing from the Mets, I guess. The only thing you don't love to see, like I mentioned, DeGrom on the DL, apparently for precautionary reasons, so you don't mind that as much, but we will monitor DeGrom carefully, but still we feel pretty confident that he's not going to be gone for too long, and definitely feel very confident that the degromination will ensue shortly thereafter that.
WEFUNK. We funk.